Me and my girlfriend broke up. Told me she got with an enemy of mine. Deal breaker. Eee. Oh my God.
In other words, is it a deal breaker? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. Like whether or not it's a deal breaker.
Getting with your enemy? I mean, if you have a sworn enemy and your girlfriend gets with him, I think that's a deal breaker.
That's
That crosses
really
many
bad.
lines. Like, you have a sworn I don't know many people have. I don't have a sworn enemy, at least I don't think. But if I had one, and
Well,
I'd be
sometimes
down
your
bad.
closest friends can, like I was talking to a guy recently in a phone session. Is like a close friend of his fucked his. It was either his girlfriend or wife. I can't remember. And it was like I'd known this dude since we were kids, and yet the dude was shagging his girl on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
obviously he found out about it. So not only did he lose his girl, but he lost his childhood best friend.
there's clearly different types of scenarios. It's not just enemy. It could be like your ex's best friend or like just some other random guy.
I was just thinking like enemy. I was like, oh, you're down bad, man.
This is some high school
Your enemy
shit.
just won. Oh. I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely a deal breaker. I mean, yes. The answer to the question is yes. I mean,
Why does the guy even have an enemy to begin with? Like,
Well, the important thing is, are you getting back together because you think she's going to be loyal to you, or because the other thing that's really common, and I wrote about this in my book, is that oftentimes, especially if you're the dumper, it's very common for the women to get pissed off and then start sleeping with your friends.
yeah.
So I had a girlfriend that did that. I broke it off with her, and to my knowledge, she dated hooked up to, at least 3 guys that I knew, or that were one of them she dated for like a year, and I was cool with it. But there were 2 other guys that were friends of mine that she hooked up with, and it was like whatever. But the one that pissed me off was like when my ex-wife. It's like I was in the process of breaking up with her, and I'm going through a difficult time, and I'm telling everything to my best friend at the time, thinking I'm sharing everything in confidence, and meanwhile he's also friends with my ex-wife, and so this is before I broke things off. Then I finally work up the courage to tell her, my thoughts and where I'm at and what I'm feeling, and I don't want to be together anymore. It's like she knew everything already, and he had told her all this. And I was like, how did you know it? She's like, well, so and so told me. I was like, motherfucker. And then later on, I don't know, 6 months later, she and I were having lunch, shooting the shit, and she's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. I got to tell you something. And she's like, I was like, what? And so I was out with so and so, meaning my best friend at the time. And so they were hanging out and having drinks, and he was like, so you want to fuck or what? Just like that. I was like, I mean, at least come to me and ask. But it's like, when you're that involved with the intimate things going on and my marriage, that I'm coming to you for advice and sharing things in confidence, and you're sharing, just like soon as I tell you, you're basically on the phone telling her, because he's trying to ingratiate himself to her,
Yeah.
because she's beautiful and he wanted to get in her pants, and that was it. And he didn't, I guess he figured he would do it and she would never say anything about it, which,
That's even a worse. That's just so sneaky and just back.
So it was like, and then there were other things that happened after that, like when he came to work for James, my old business partner, and then he left on really bad terms and badmouthed all of us. And then, it's like I never spoke to him again after that. And I didn't see him for like 10, 15 years. And then I was running down the street in Orlando. I was just jogging. We call it running, but, running down the street and get some exercise. And this big black Suburban pulls over in front of me. I'm like, what is this? And then he gets out. I hadn't seen him in like 10, 15 years. And so we hung out for a couple hours and talked, and we're shooting the shit. And he's like, oh, it's Waterby under the bridge. And it's
yeah, if you did all the bad things and the things that kind of burn the relationship, and then you see the person and you're like, oh, it's just water under the bridge. I think the person who received the bad things is supposed to be the one who says that, not the person who did it.